You go there to see a part of the world maybe you haven't been to, or a part of the world you want to see more of.
This is the second time I've come to Kuwait. Is it challenging? Absolutely. Is it demanding? Absolutely. Is it rewarding? Unbelievably.
We were out here in the middle of nowhere, and it was just like brother and sister. We were such, like a family there. I felt like I grew up a lot going over there.
I've been a civilian for 4 years now, and I decided to deploy, experience what the warfighter goes through day in and day out.
I was in customer service, but I knew that I wanted to learn more about the field, and I wanted to push myself and face fears. I always like to do that.
I can see that the services are really glad that we're here, working side by side, and that's why I'm just so happy to be here, so they can show me exactly what they need.
When I signed on, I agreed to become an EE deployable to go worldwide at any given moment's notice as a member of DLA in support of the warfighter.
A DLA support team, or DST, is, in its simplest terms, a group of DLA employees, subject matter experts from the various DLA field activities that are deployed to a forward location to provide on-site, face-to-face direct support to warfighters. The composition of the teams really depend upon the mission that we're supporting.
My job over here is primarily dealing with Class 9 repairable parts. What they do primarily is fix all the vehicles, the heavy equipment vehicles, any kind of transportation vehicle required to help support the mission over here, from troops to material.
I was an administrative officer and mobility specialist. I would track how many people were coming in and out of Afghanistan. I would do trucking, host nation trucking requests for our DLA disposition services if they needed to move equipment from one part of Afghanistan to another. And I'd also help their expeditionary team with transportation.
Right now we're at the 1058 Convoy Security Command Maintenance Facility. And what I do is expedite any critical parts that they may have to get them in there at the right time, identify any issues or concerns that may have to do with the forecasting of an item, and making sure that the whole supply chain process goes as smoothly as possible.
I designed disposal solutions for all the customers that are basically outside of the garrison. The director came to me from contingency and said, I would like you to go to Afghanistan for us and set up a facility. We didn't have a presence in Afghanistan, and I want you to go there and set up a facility and work with the embassy and the Afghanistan government to negotiate sales agreements so we could actually sell within Afghanistan. It was so exciting and it was so scary. I traveled to Kabul, traveled to Kandahar, all of that, and set up the facility in Bagram, and it was wonderful.
I'm a supply expediter for theater provided equipment refurbishment, and it's a refurbishment of Humvees and other tactical vehicles.
I really got to understand how DLA supports the warfighter. We do a lot of good work out there. If it wasn't for us being there, some things they would just take forever to get, and they needed it. For instance, it was becoming the cold season was coming up, and they needed to get all of these cold weather tents, and the process was just taking such a long time. Well, if it wasn't for DLA representatives being there, soldiers would have been sleeping outside.
I went to Kosovo for 6 months. I really enjoyed the experience. I had a great time.
I decided to apply for this deployable position for a couple of reasons. One, I really wanted to embed myself with the customer and find out what I can do, how much I can learn being engaged directly with the customer. And number two, I have a high regard for the military and what they do to serve us. And this is the least I can do to come out here and give some type of support.
A civilian that's going to go on a deployment could expect to be gone for 179 days. They could expect to sleep in the worst type of environment, like a tent in the desert. They could expect some financial benefits. They could expect it to be a career enhancer.
It's a little bit different deploying as a civilian versus a military. Now as a civilian, I feel I can more focus on what the customer's requirements are and help them carry out their mission.
The thing I've enjoyed most about it is just experiencing the issues that the Army faces, their need for the supplies. We hear back at our home stations, DLA, that this is an urgency, but until you get out here and you see these vehicles are down and they need this part in order to get up and running and be sent to Iraq, Afghanistan.
I got to sit with my customer, and it's the first time I've ever directly worked with my customer in their location, and that was an incredible experience.
I receive customer inquiries about their parts, how to get them here sooner. If there's any problems in the system, I communicate with them via email, telephone, and or go to their meetings in person. The average day for me is a minimal 12-hour day.
We work on a 12-hour shift, 30-minute lunches, and we have one administrative day off here in Kuwait.
The experience that you gain is certainly unparalleled to anything that you could get back here. From a monetary perspective, you can earn a maximum up to 40 hours per week and overtime, and also up to 70% of your base salary for a period of 6 months.
We wore uniforms, desert uniforms. We wore them mainly because specific units asked for civilians to wear uniforms.
Some of the living conditions people may encounter coming over here, you can range from everything from a tent city to a multi-person hardened shelter, like an open bay, but subdivided by closed dressers and stuff like that. And then if you're really fortunate, you can find yourself in a pod. It's basically a container divided in half with a person living on each side, where you share a common bathroom.
The first time I deployed, 0506, we were in a 20 by 40 wooden bee hut, and we were racked and stacked about 6 high, which was very comfortable considering how everyone else was living.
They had a variety of food. Sometimes there were attacks or something like that sort on the base, or something had happened out in the field. We'd get limited food items, meaning that no vegetables at all. And so you'd be limited, like fried chicken, or you just go to the PX and you'd buy some soup. We lived in Connex boxes. They were, the best living conditions that you could have, I think, in Afghanistan altogether, because when I went to Kandahar, I stayed in an open bay with 50 other women. And so I was like, take me back to Bagram.
We live well, and we have the internet, running water, television, about 60 channels, and I'm able to keep in touch with my family members. Also, just 5-minute walk away, we have the dining facility, PX, and any other fast food place you can want.
It's a great opportunity, and their financial rewards, their personal rewards. There was hazard pay involved, so there was money, there was overtime.
We expect the civilians on the DLA support teams to work really hard, obviously, but more importantly, to train the warfighters that they're there. We don't want people to go there to simply do the warfighter's work for them. We operate under the teach a man to fish and he'll eat for a lifetime philosophy.
The ultimate impact for the warfighter is when we put our DLA personnel downrange, they are guaranteed to receive their supplies from DLA.
If you're a civilian and you're curious about it, you're interested in it, if you have the opportunity, I highly encourage you to do it.
You have to have an open mind. You definitely have to have a sense of humor. I definitely think you should be fit enough to be able to work long hours. If you really want to go see how DLA works, it's the best place to go.
And you want to be open for adventure, out there, you want to meet people, want to try new experiences.
This whole experience has done nothing but enhance my DLA knowledge base for the entire enterprise.
It's a wonderful opportunity to see the other side of the spectrum, to see the customer that we support. It also is a wonderful opportunity, if you're not a former military member, to experience what a deployed military serviceman deal with on a day-to-day basis.
You will find yourself just extremely a warm feeling inside, a great feeling inside when you go home knowing you did the best you could and help support the warfighter to carry out their mission. You try to provide them with all the equipment so they can return home safely to their family, friends, and loved ones.
Nothing tops those armed forces, soldiers, airmen, Marines, seamen, and Coast Guardsmen, when they give you that thanks face to face on what you did to help support their mission, getting them that right item at the right place, price, time, every time.
I loved it. The war fighters are wonderful. You love dealing with them. You love being there for them and supporting them. You learn a lot about yourself. You come back as a changed person. I haven't seen one single person that's gone on a deployment that hasn't learned about themselves or changed in some way.
I'm considering doing it again. I'm in Kuwait right now. I'm considering going to possibly Afghanistan. I've enjoyed my experience enough to consider it again.